Bucky, now that y'all got, you're assured that at the worst y'all finish 500 in SEC play. Do you have any number in mind that you feel like y'all need to reach to feel real comfortable about getting into the tournament?
I got a number in mind I want to get to. That's 13. Four more games. But no, I mean, look, I think that you got to keep grinding. We don't have any bad losses. We've shown that we are a great team at home and on the road, particularly. I mean, if you think about our road games in the toughest league in the country, and the SEC has the toughest places to play in the country. We've gone to Alabama. We lost by 3. We won at Auburn, won at Texas, won at Georgia, won at Oklahoma, double overtime at Tennessee. The only one we didn't play well in was Vanderbilt. We lost by double digits. But I think when you're looking at numbers and all that, when you evaluate things like that, if you have a winning record in the SEC, the toughest league in the country, and you have shown you can do it consistently on the road, that's a great sign for the NCAA tournament, right? And I think you also got to look at teams that our team specifically. You throw out the first 4 games of the season, you look at this team, you're going to say team's been able to play it with a lot of these teams that are going to have some nice seeds in this tournament. So, that's me bragging on our team, but I want to finish this thing off right and play well here in these last 4 games.
Should a win in Fayetteville be enough to ensure that you'd get in as good as they are?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would think our body works pretty dang good right now, so I don't want to put game pressure either way more than the pressure that we put on ourselves to play well. I think that we got a team that if we play well, it just takes care of itself. I mean, I'm not thinking about the NCAA tournament as much as I'm thinking about how can we position ourselves to be in a spot to somehow compete for a championship in this league. And if it can't be done, if Florida runs the table and does their deal, then how can we have the best seed possible for the SEC tournament to give ourselves a chance there to get buys, double buys, get to the semis? And if you think like that, what's in front of you, and the way to do that is not to focus on that, but to focus on playing good basketball, everything else should take care of itself. Yeah.
You guys probably had one of your better defensive performances on Saturday, especially in that second half. Just wouldn't you feel like were maybe some of the little things y'all did really well that you can take from that, some teach tape maybe?
Well, I think our players took the game personal. And I mentioned this, I mentioned this on the radio, is that so this time of year, and I want to be careful. I want to say this after we've won, because sometimes if you lose, it's it's a players' game. And they're like, oh, okay, sure it is now, right? But this time of year, it really becomes a players' game. And I want to say that if we had 2 wins. Because here's why. The schemes, everybody knows each other by now. We know what the other players can do. They know what our players can do. They're going to know what defenses we run. We're going to know what they run. You don't see too many I got you plays out there this time of year. It is literally like who wins the matchup. Like Rylan Griffin, that last possession we went to him, won his matchup. He finished through contact and got a bucket. And then there were several players on defense in that game. They had their guy and said, Coach told me to guard you. Your night's over with, right? And that's what I mentioned what I mentioned on the radio earlier. It's like who can cut whose water off that night. And I think that's really what it comes down to this time of year. It's like, I got you. Oh, now they ran a screen. I switched off. Now I got you. It's over for you. Oh, switch back. I got you. Now it's back over for you. And that's the mindset you got to play with this time of year.
We could go back, starting to get a little bit against the wall. Just what have you seen for maybe just the sense of urgency from your guys these last couple games?
Well, just, a lot of teams wait till they get to the NCAA tournament or their life's on the line to really fight. I haven't felt that from this team. I would say at Vandy we're a little fatigued, but, I don't think lack of fight has been the issue with this team or any point. I'm not saying there is issues with the team. This team is one of the most, what some would consider an overachieving team, right? In a lot of ways. I'm not talking wins and losses. They just give you everything they got. But a lot of teams, they get the NCAA tournament and their basketball life's on the line. Now they're really going to fight. UFC right there. We just talked about it earlier. They wait till they get in the octagon and they're really going to fight. Well, how did you train the 60 days leading up to that? Right? Because if you walk in the octagon and, you hadn't done that, that's an eerie feeling. So to get to the NCAA tournament, you got to have that same sense of urgency every night that your life's on the line. And I think you've seen that from our guys. With 6 games left, I told our players, let's play this like this is our NCAA tournament, one at a time. Now we're in the Sweet 16 going up to Arkansas. Because to win the NCAA tournament, you got to win 6 games. So let's treat it like that. So that way, when we get to the NCAA tournament, we know that feeling.
During media days that Cal kind of gave you some indirect advice about how to, build a program where there's not really a team here. Do you guys, what's that relationship like between you two? And is there any sort of challenge of sort of pushing through the Hall of Fame mystique, messaging to your players?
Yeah, I've just never looked at basketball that way in terms of coaching. Like I've been in it so long. I think a lot of the coaches in general I just never looked at it as coaches versus coach. I just kind of coach our team. But to your point on Calipari, I knew him. He recruited one of our players in high school. Very genuine person, Obviously, he was in the spot we were last year with pretty much a new team. They struggled at parts in that. I think they lost their first 5 games or so in the SEC, isn't that right? And then they went on to get to the Sweet 16 and were very close to could have made the Elite 8. So, that's a model for how you got to stay the course and keep your eye on the prize, which is to play your best basketball towards the latter part of the season. That doesn't mean you're cruising to the latter part. That just means that you're improving day by day.
You sort of touched on it there, but is there game by game discussion on this is what we need to do to get a double bye and stuff like that? Is that part of the messaging to this group?
We just talk about how we're going to improve and play our best basketball. That's really the key. When you start getting those are results. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that just in the duration of our time here, which hopefully y'all have me forever. It's so we can go and get those 10 natties. But in the duration of our time here, we cannot be so honed in on results. I just give you this example. We had a losing streak. We won at Georgia. We lost at Alabama. We didn't play well versus Florida. Okay. And then we lose a tight one. I guess it was Missouri next, right? Well, everyone's up and hey, what's going on? We played great at Bama, right? Missouri's beat Florida, and we were there in a 1-point game. I didn't like how I played at Vandy. But it can't be, everything's great because we're winning, but everything's terrible if we lose a game. We got to stay the course and not be results-oriented. And so I bring that up to say this, is that we got to stay that way in this time. We can't be worried about, how do we get it by? How do we do this? Everything takes care of itself if you focus and stay the course on playing well. Just playing well. And that means practicing well. And if you do that, you're going to get what you deserve.
I guess as you guys maybe aim to crescendo and continue improving the little things, how much of a discussion maybe has free throw shooting been in that regard, of just something to try and continue to improve?
Yeah, you always want to improve what you can. I don't overharp free throws. I think that can be detrimental. There'll be, for the last game, Josh was just out there working with his free throw. He missed couple in that game, that brought the percentages down, that he's working on something I think is really going to help him. But I think sometimes instead of us worrying so much about the glass half empty, not you guys, but just in general, let's look glass half full and let's say, man, what about Rashawn going up there and icing those free throws there? Just hey, not over for you guys. I'm icing these. Just throw it into Rashawn, foul me, come on. And then the next time Rashawn's going to be in that spot, come on. And I think that's the thing we got to remember is that life's not perfect, neither is basketball. How can you persevere when it's not perfect? And that's really what's going to matter the most down the stretch here, because it's not going to be perfect.
Darius Acuff, one of the nation's best scorers. What have you seen from him, and what would you say is kind of the key to limiting his production?
Oh, yeah, great player. Just kind of can get going every single way, full court, half court, tough. What did he score? 175 points on Bama the other night? Unbelievable. Just the players in this league, they're great players. So, he's going to get his. They just can't let him be easy, right? You can't look up if he has 40 and, 22 were just nothing. He only had to work for 18. So, good player, though.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
guys.
Appreciate it.